So the law of cosines is used to find SSS and SAS triangles. That is to say, triangles where we know that they are unique, but we don't have a side and an angle across from it. So we can't use the law of sines. Just be aware that the law of cosines has nothing to do with the kind of proportions that the law of sines is. The law of cosines is an expansion of the Pythagorean theorem. So instead of c squared being a squared plus b squared, since c is no longer a right triangle necessarily, we have this extension here. So just be aware, if c is a right angle, cosine of 90 degrees is 0. I'll write all in there. Okay, yeah. If C really is a right triangle, it goes back to being the regular Pythagorean theorem. Now be careful, since C isn't necessarily a right angle, it doesn't get its own special place. You could have A acting like the biggest angle or the angle that you care about. Or B. Or you could have three completely different letters. Just be aware that the side that's by itself has to go across, has to be linked with the angle that you're talking about. Okay, so let's actually try a problem here. Little note, when possible, use law of cosines to find the biggest angle. Once I've got one of the angles, then I will have an angle and a side across from it. The problem is the law of sines. Sine of 85 and sine of 95 are the same number. Sine can't tell the difference between an angle that's less than 90 and the one that's greater than 90. If it's supposed to be greater than 90 and you use the law of sines on it, it'll screw it up. So be careful with that. So I will set up this particular one to find angle A, since that's the biggest side that goes across from it. Now, it doesn't actually matter if you've got side, 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 because you can just use the law of cosines twice. But let's just set it up. Let's see. I'm finding angle A, so I'll use the version that has A squared by itself. a frantic note here.
Those are not like terms. One of them's got a variable still.
So we can't, those are not like terms, we cannot subtract them. We're going to have to subtract 181 from both sides instead. So you have, watch the negative, drag the negative along. So don't lose it, because that's important, because that'll tell you that angle A has to be obtuse. Okay, so A ends up being 114.624. We'll do the law of cosines again. I'll do it over here in blue. Can use the law of sines. I'll want to store angle A if I use the law of sines. Remember that the point of storing is not to just round it off and then store that rounded off number. You really want to store the non-rounded version. So b squared is 9 squared.
I just subtracted 356.
Watch your minus signs. Cosine B, if B will come out less than 90 degrees if both sides end up negative. You got to watch for all your negatives. Okay, and then B ends up being and then you can just add A and B together and subtract to get angle C. Okay. So with side angle side, you have to be a little careful. So let's just show how that starts. Putting in the given numbers. So what do we have? We have the only one where we can actually solve things is if we use cosine of 36. And 36 is angle B, so we'll have to use cosine of angle B. So B squared first. And angle B is 36. Notice that this one you don't have to move things around. You just stuff it raw into the calculator.
The whole right-hand side is just a number. Find it. Oh, look, it's 17-ish. Don't forget the square root. That's a 9.
Store store that as B or use extra precision when you're writing down one of the other ones. I have to use the law of sines this time, or use that bug ugly B. I'll use the law of sines. And we definitely want to make sure we use it to find the smaller angle. Again, angle A could be bigger than 90 degrees. It looks entirely possible, and the law of sines won't be able to tell.
So don't try and find angle A first. I think I tried to find angle A first for a second because I was tired. Ignore that bit. As you can see, I changed it to C in a minute.
Okay, so we'll do
This is me writing angle A in because I was being an idiot.
okay, cross multiplying and then dividing by the stored number. You get sine A equals some decimal. Don't forget you use second sign to find the angle.
I didn't want to record this whole thing over again.
Okay, and then A comes out to,
Oops.
uh-oh. And I've already recorded forever. I'm not going to re-record this. I'm going to just erase and say, I didn't follow my own directions. I want to find the smaller angle. Okay, so let's find the smaller angle. Size C. Okay. All right, whatever. C turns out to be 44.845 degrees, and subtracting from 180, sure enough, A was bigger than 90 degrees, so it would have given me an error message when I tried to do it.
Not an error. It would have given me 81 degrees, which isn't right.